If you have a student who is in 6th or 7th grade at iTech, then they have life science. So welcome to the new year. I'm one of the 2 teachers. We also have Mr. Garza, who also teaches at Flex Academy. He and I work together on these units for this year. So this class is about students really looking at the living world and considering all of the different ways that life makes itself known on our planet, including the structures and the interactions that happen and how these organisms interact with other creatures throughout the world. This is not a class about memorizing facts. We are asking students to build a skill set when it comes to exploring in science and doing science inquiry. That way they can take these skills forward in their next classes. As of right now, this is a loose structure we have for projects that we'll be doing in the life science classes, starting with our bioethics project that we've been working on this month, and then how we are moving forward. Again, depending on how we are in remote learning or if we move into hybrid and things like that, we're going to keep this timeline a little bit more flexible than we might in any other year, just because those schedule changes might change how we do our work. But just a heads up, the next project students will do when we finish bioethics will be assessing a species. So students will be finding or selecting a species from the Pacific Northwest to really study and get to know. What is that species experiencing right now? What is its environment like? What's the outlook for that species? So students will really get to go deep with another organism. And then we'll move into our science fiction unit, and we will work in systems so that students understand that living organisms are systems with smaller systems in size, and we'll have a lot of fun looking at the different levels of complexity there. Then we're thinking about doing our urban gardens unit in January, and then Mr. Garza and I are big time amateur ornithologists. So we want to leverage all of our collective knowledge when it comes to birds and really give students some really cool insights into birds around the world. So we're very excited for that. The standards we use in this class are the NGSS standards. So those are things like science content, science and engineering practices. We also use the ISTE standards. Those are technology standards, so things that students do as STEM students, really. And then we have our Common Core State standards that have specific reading and writing standards about science and technical subjects. So you will see all of those throughout the year. When it comes to grading these standards, there are 4 levels we look at. You'll see that the 3 has asterisks by it. That's because we're looking at students who are consistently meeting standard, and that's a 3 in their work, and that's what gets entered in jump rope. And then for a 4, we have students that are consistently exceeding standard. Consistently is the important word in these 2 standards. And then in a level 2, we have students that are close to meeting standards. They still are doing work to get there, but they're pretty close. And then a 1 represents students that need extensive support in their work. Some keys to our grading is that it's rubric based for projects such as the projects we have right now with bioethics. We have a rubric that outlines the standards as part of the information in the module. We allow multiple attempts, so students that get a score that's not something that they want to settle with or that's okay with the family, that you want to support them in pushing them to challenge themselves to go further. We do arrange for multiple attempts at a standard, but that's something that we will meet with students about on a case-by-case basis. We don't want to assign all students multiple attempts if they're demonstrating standard, but for students that want extra support, then we can provide those attempts. We are somewhat bound by grade terms, so we do have cutoff points eventually, but we do like to provide as many attempts as we can within that. We also do project work. I'm not going to be giving students quizzes or tests that aren't part of a project work, and that's really what frames all of the work we do in science. Another important thing is consistency when it comes to grading. Students are really demonstrating work consistently throughout the unit is what we're looking for. Communication is important. We collect grades from everything students do. So they often ask, is this graded? Well, technically everything's graded, because when we get to the final project, if we're reading through that and assessing that and we're missing something, we go back and look through their work on Canvas and look through evidence we have to see if we can find that evidence somewhere else in their portfolio of work. So it's really important that students understand that we look everywhere. And so it's best to do your best as all throughout the work that you do. The other part is we do self-assessment on projects. Frequently, we will ask students to look at their own work and find evidence of their learning within that. It really helps them to own the process that we are working through. We use two main systems in our work. The first one is Canvas, and then we have Jump Rope. For life science, Canvas will be where we distribute lessons, where we have the modules that house the lessons, where there are assignments, the rubrics, what they'll look like, other resources, links, those types of things. Jump Rope is where we will communicate grades. So if you have a student and you want to know if they turned in an assignment, you can go to Canvas and see if they'll be able to show you if it shows submitted, that the assignment has been submitted. But if you want to know if the assignment has been graded, you'll want to go to Jump Rope and see if the grades are showing there. Our first project involved students really thinking about bioethics and how they affect what we do in life science, what scientists do, and considerations that people have to use when it comes to these topics, and how scientists communicate with each other using argumentation to say what should or shouldn't happen, or what we should or shouldn't test. And so students are completing a case study. That's the first graded assignment. It is due September 25th, and that means that, which is a Friday. And so grades will probably come out later in the week after that. So you can look for that in Jump Rope. Some keys to the success for this class and for any class: students should be ready to learn today's material today. And that's just really an encouragement for them to stay on top of their work. They have a lot of classes. There are a lot of things going on iTech, even when we're remote, and even more so when we're in the building. It's a really exciting place. So we want to support students in maintaining that readiness, taking care of what they need to on the day they need to take care of it. And the next thing is to submit assignments on time, completed. As we've noticed working with students, if they get behind, then it starts to pile up, and it can be challenging to move forward when you have a lot of items on your plate. And so we want to encourage students to get things done on time. We do have a 2-week late window that we allow for students to submit items. So it is okay to turn things in late, but then students often miss chances to resubmit or to polish because we've moved on with that. So we really want to encourage students to turn in their work on time. And then the last thing is to have students email when they struggle. The earlier, the better. When they let us know, we can help them, rather than after the fact trying to go back and relearn things from the past. So it's much better if they email us when they have questions. That's always great for us to provide that support. So for contact, you'll notice, or might have noticed already, I send out a mostly weekly newsletter where I let you know kind of the topics we addressed in the week, what we're doing next week, if there's any other key details going on. So I'll send those almost every week throughout the year. That way, if you have a question or something comes up, you can just hit reply, and that's a quick way to let me know what's going on. We also have office hours. Myself and Mr. Rogers have partnered up to have those before and after school on Tuesdays, Wednesday mornings, and then Thursday afternoons for students. As of right now, they are drop-in, and students can get to the hours and the Zoom links on the homepage of Canvas. We may have to change whether they're drop-in or appointment in the future. as things develop with remote learning and with hybrid learning. So we'll just have to see. But right now they are drop-in hours. We do have Wednesday mornings and Tuesday afternoons set aside to meet with families as part of office hours. But if you need to meet with me outside of that, just send me an email and we'll see what we can arrange so that we can meet up. My email is right there. That is my preferred method of contact because email allows me to copy you, copy the student, copy other teachers, and really include things and send files and links. And so it's just the best way for me to track communication as well, because I can keep students in folders and really make sure that I'm following up. So please email me anytime. It's really a great way to get a hold of me. And that is the curriculum information. Thank you so much. And I look forward to meeting you hopefully soon.